Our next area of inquiry is Montessori's learning insights. Here we have summarized what we believe are some of the essential insights brought to the forefront by the Montessoris. Human needs and tendencies, 4 planes of development, from the whole to the detail, adaptation, observation, imagination, freedom and discipline, concrete to abstract, normalization. Collectively, these developmental insights build what may be called a prepared learning environment. Let's look at the human tendencies: exploring, orienting, ordering, imagining, abstracting, manipulating, repeating, perfecting, working, observing, and communicating. Mario Montessori, in acknowledgement of these descriptive contributions, indicated that they are not fixed categories. We believe that the ability to observe is essential for any teacher. The nurturing of this tendency sets Montessori apart from traditional learning environments. The creative imagination is humanity's gift for understanding, inventing, and determining the future of Earth's community. Montessori said that human consciousness comes into the world as a flaming ball of imagination. Everything invented by humanity is the fruit of someone's imagination. Another Montessori insight was the 4 planes of development. Just like the universe, children progress through stages that are sequences of irreversible transformation. Montessori called these sensitive periods and likened it to the metamorphosis of a butterfly. This chart depicts one of Montessori's final works, a 1950 collaboration with physicist Luigi Vantapié, and it demonstrates that in ordinary education, the teacher is viewed as imparting learning on the child, a causal situation. She often referred to children in these schools as dried butterflies. In Montessori education, the finalistic phenomenon is at work. The child is in a process of self-creating. It seems that there is a relationship between Montessori's adaptation, finality, and the new term autopoiesis, or self-creation that involves a feedback. Adaptation, autopoiesis. Montessori identifies the goal of education as the development of a complete human being, oriented to the environment, and adapted to his or her time, place, and culture. Paula Polk-Lillard says, this adaptation involves the capacity to meet new situations and have the intelligence and courage to transform them when change is needed. Autopoiesis is a word invented by 2 neuroscientists, Umberto Maturana and Francesco Varela. Auto, of course, means self and refers to the autonomy of self-organizing systems, and poiesis shares the same Greek root as the word poetry and means making meaning. Autopoiesis, then, means self-making. The self-making is a process of relationship between entity and environment and is proposed to be a cognitive act. Montessori's concept of education pictures the child in his or her milieu to be, in modern language, in a co-creative process of adaptation. We see this as a mutually enhancing process. The next element that is brought forward is practice. Practice is the creation of prepared environments that invite the expression of the tendencies. Practice, preparing the indoor and outdoor environment, inviting the emergence of human tendencies, ensuring congruency of content and process. Practice is the responsibility of the adult. Experiences are created that enable the learner to interact with the environment. Here we are viewing some of the materials used in the Montessori classroom that depict the child's using a concrete apparatus and leading to abstraction. It is sometimes said that these are meditations on human innovations. The materials and lessons are experiences of exploring, orienting, order, imagining, observing. These are some of the tendencies identified by Mario Montessori. Experiences. Among other experiences include practical life, or going out, for 6 to 12-year-olds, and experiential participation for adolescents. Practical life activities for young children not only orient them to their culture, but provide opportunity for the development of concentration, normalization, and intensified interest. The practical life for older children are the ongoing activities. For 6 to 12-year-olds, it is a time to extend their knowledge into the community, and for adolescents, it is to become a contributing member of that community. Gardening is an essential experience for young people. Montessori says, "Solicitous care for living things affords satisfaction to one of the most lively instincts of the young person's mind. Nothing is better calculated than this to awaken an attitude of foresight." Permaculture extends the practice of gardening to an all-encompassing context for integrating human living practices and all its influences. It could be considered an illustration of cosmic education. The approach of permaculture grew from the original idea of permanent agriculture to encompass a more complete picture of working within the principles of natural processes to create sustainable lifestyles. Our next circle represents the participants, the individuals that comprise the community. The participants. The participants in a learning community include adults with children and adults with adults. The qualities of the adult that may be developed include cosmophilia, the love of the cosmos, biophilia, the love of the life, and ecophilia, the love of the systemic integration. Knowledge of the developmental insights, and knowing how to create a learning environment. A learning community is built by young people and adults. All are teachers and learners. We need also to address adult communities, especially in the area of teacher training. Paula Polk-Lillard, in her book Montessori, A Modern Approach, explains that although Montessori developed strategies for working with children and youth, she never took on the elements of a prepared environment for adults. We assert that the human tendencies are active throughout life, and that adult environments can be developed which honor the adult as a learner in a learning community. We further claim that the process of teacher education must be congruent with the same process that one expects the teacher to use with learners. One cannot teach democracy by non-democratic means. We have seen the partnership elements of developmental insights and practice, as well as the matrix of participants. In the concluding section, we will explore the stability point, Montessori's vision, and the growth point, autopoiesis. We will also see all of these in the context of macrophase wisdom.